welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the video series where we look at cars that cost between £1,000 and £5,000 that you can buy and enjoy for sensible motoring purposes. We don't have a lot of money, we don't have a lot of time, we get the job done. Colin is with me today in this 2015 Suzuki Celerio SZ4. We're in Stockbridge today in Hampshire, and on the way down the country roads towards the town itself. I'm trying to avoid tractors and other things, and also Audis in my rear view mirror, which is always a constant threat in modern traffic. The Celerio was introduced to our market in February 2015, and this is a very early car. We think it dates from that particular month. It's only done 22,000 miles, and definitely you can pick one of these up now for less than £5,000. The car was actually discontinued for our market in 2019, so they are only available second hand now. Prices when they were new ranged from £6,500 to about £10,000. This particular car, when it was new, would have been around £9,000, possibly a little bit more with the metallic paint that it's got. And so the saving that you would get from new is quite remarkable. The Celerio was infamous when it was launched, actually for an autocar test, where they took two different Celerios and subjected them to a braking test at 70 miles per hour, for which they actually had a failure in the brake system, and the brake pedal sort of snapped and went straight to the floor. I have just tested the brakes on this one, and they're absolutely fine, by the way, and particularly if we're going down this hill. Gearbox is very, very light in this car, probably the lightest I've ever used. It's very easy to use indeed. It's worth saying right now that actually this is being filmed on 4th of November, so Colin being in the back of the car with me is a perfectly sensible precaution, and from tomorrow we wouldn't be doing this anyway, but you'll be seeing this once the national lockdown has started, so it's just worth saying that now, just so we don't have any confusion. There was only one engine available in the Celerio. It's called the K10 engine. The K10B was the standard variant that you would find, and that developed 67 horsepower. There was also a K10C version. Now that, in other Suzuki models, is normally paired with a turbo. In this particular one, there is no turbo, and it only developed the same horsepower output, 67, with slightly more torque. However, the dual jet wasn't really about performance, it was really about economy. And you'd think that a car that, with figures on the old NEDC cycle of 65.7 miles per gallon, wouldn't possibly need any more, traits that make it more economical, but actually that was the case, and it got something like 78 miles per gallon. With this particular car, all I could see, the average fuel consumption when I started up is 60 miles per gallon, and for some reason the fuel economy gauge doesn't go any higher. Once you get to 60 miles per gallon, that's it. Colin did a brim to brim test the other day, and he's getting 56 miles per gallon. One of the things that I've been realising when driving this car is that you absolutely need to rev it in order to make any progress at all. 0 to 60 times about 13.5 seconds. It's even worse with the automated manual gearbox that was also available with this car. The trims available were the SZ2, that cost virtually no money at all, the SZ3, that was also available with the dual jet engine, and the SZ4. This is an SZ4, and it's funny that you didn't get the option of that ultra economical engine. We do have all sorts of things in here. We've got rear electric windows, air conditioning, we've got a DAB radio as well, which is really good actually for the specification of the car. alloy wheels make the car look a bit better, and the mirrors are actually colour coded instead of the door handles, and again that improves the look of the car over the cheaper specifications. The handling of the car is actually good. There is some feel through the steering. I've heard other road testers talk about the fact that the steering doesn't want to self-centre as easily as in most cars, and I can understand that. It's just a bit weird like that. But then again, the target market for this car, things like these Seat Me, Volkswagen Up, Peugeot 108, things like that, doesn't really matter that much. Obviously, if you want the ultimate in dynamism for not much money, and you want a bit more power, then you could buy an MG3. An MG3 though really does belong in the class above, although the prices when these cars were new were quite comparable. A sort of bottom of the range MG3 in a pre-facelift form was about £8,400, and the top of the range one of these was 10,000 or 9,800, and top of the range MG3 was about 10,000. So, you know, they were comparable on market positioning, but not in terms of the class. Right, we'll come back to you in a little while and have a look around this car. So we ended up at Danebury Hill Fort, which is just over there, near Stockbridge. I used to actually come here when I was a young child with my father. It's very nice. I recommend a visit. Because we are in the day before the national lockdown, it is quite busy here, but Colin's very wisely chosen to park at the bottom of the hill rather than where the actual the fort is. So we're pretty undisturbed here, apart from lots and lots of aircraft noise for some reason. So this is the SZ4 trim. This is a very, very early car. The launch of the cars to the public was in February 2015, and being on a 64 plate, this car can only be a February 2015 registered one. This was, I think, supplied new to WJ King in probably Sidcup. That is actually where my Seat Celerio came from. The Suzuki Seat arm of the same company, WJ King, which is interesting. I do like the alloy wheels on this SZ4. The car's only done 22,000 miles, so it's really barely run in. One thing you're immediately aware of when looking at a Celerio is just how square the car is and how the space is really maximised. And if I open this door, for example, you kind of see in here there's actually quite a bit of room. Now the plastics are very, very hard in here. There's no soft touch of anything. Reminds me a bit like a Proton Savvy or something. It's not quite like that, but it's sort of similar. I do apologise for the light rays coming in. I'll try to minimize that as I can, but sometimes that's unavoidable. And unlike a lot of these things, like the Skoda Citigo, Seat Me and Volkswagen Up, there is a centre 3-point seat belt in here, and it goes kind of funny like that or across there, which is really interesting. You can sort of see just a huge, just black door card, and you've got an exposed screw head just here as well. It doesn't really matter. I mean, this car cost £9,000 brand new. This was a top of the range car, so really you've got to forgive it for that. If you open up the boot, again, nice uncluttered back here, so I don't get run over by anybody whilst I'm trying to film. You see Colin's already got his bags in here for demonstration purposes. It's a 254 litre boot, actually about 3 litres bigger than a Volkswagen Up. So we'll just move those out of the way for a second. Looking here, we've got a tyre repair kit in there, which is what you get, you know, with modern cars. But it's a nice shape actually. It's not as big as an MG3 boot, but then again, this is a city car and not a super mini. I obviously will be making MG3 comparisons in the video because these cars were sort of comparably priced at the time, and they do have a sort of similar amount of interior space in some ways, although the boot on an MG3 is a bit bigger. The overall dimensions, though, this car is absolutely tiny. If you close the boot, which is incredibly light, there is a handle for you to use if you need it, but you don't really need it. You'll see that there's no parking sensors or anything like that, no reversing camera. I don't think you can get those as an option, but you don't really need them because the visibility is very good in this car. Just get in the back. Colin is driving position here. I've got absolutely loads and loads of room. The headroom is also very generous for such a small car. Yeah, it's actually not that bad in here. Just push the headrest up. If we do have 3 headrests at the back of the car, that's pretty comfortable actually. That's fine. I'm actually quite surprised how comfortable that is. There's a little thing there for just a bottle. Fits very nicely in there. You only do get a mat pocket on that side though for some reason, and not on this one. I suppose that's evidence of cost cutting. And the seat belt doesn't have height adjustment at all. Although this is an opportunity to show that we do actually get side airbags in this car, and I think there are curtain airbags as well, which is interesting. And those bottle holders are huge. Getting it out of the back of the car and getting in is incredibly easy because the shape is so square. And these windows do actually roll all the way down. Right, let's get in the front, shall we? I will have to adjust the seat slightly from Colin's position. There we go. Wow, we've actually got steering wheel controls. That's brilliant. I like that. Sorry, it keeps light keeps flashing in here. Just see if I can mitigate that slightly. Right. So the front door cards actually do have a bit of fabric in them, which is the same fabric as on the seats. The door pockets are really, really small. This being SZ4, there are all-round electric windows with a PowerShot driver's window, and the door locking buttons are just there. There again is our friendly exposed screw head. There's no soft touch on that at all. There's no soft touch on the dashboard either. That is actually tyre pressure monitoring, which is brilliant. You don't expect that as a cheap car, but it does have it, and that's really safe. Again, in the middle of here, nice and uncomplicated. Gosh, the light is, there we go. Put my hand just there. There's no touchscreen or anything like that. There is Bluetooth on the stereo. This is the only stereo that you could get with the car, and it's just sort of a little red screen when it lights up. Glove box. It's pretty good. I'll get the secret mission documents out in a second and we'll try it with that, but I think that's going to be pretty good. Just these door pockets are bizarrely small. Just nice simple layout with twin airbag cover there. Colin has a head-up display which is plugged into there as well. That's not a standard feature. No automatic lights or wipers, but we do have air conditioning, which is good. It's really all you need, and some kind of this USB port plus other stuff that Colin's got plugged in, and the 5-speed manual gearbox. I don't know why that paint has rubbed off to some extent that it has. Obviously that must be a common problem with these. And a nice conventional handbrake as well. A couple of cup holders in the bottom of there. It does feel quite airy and spacious in here. I don't have any matte ring lights or anything. You do get a little mirror on the sun visor, but only on the driver's side. You don't get one on the passenger side, bizarrely. Very strange. Anyway, right, so if we put the key in, we can sort of go through this. There we go. Average is 60 miles per gallon. Colin tells me that actually you can't get more than 60 miles per gallon on this trip computer. It just maxes out at 60. And official figures of this was 65.7. The dual jet version was about 75 or 78. Just bizarre. Nice clear instruments. Although I don't spot an engine temperature gauge, which is one weird thing. I know on an MG3 you don't get one of those either. If I was just starter up, I think, yeah, I'm out of gear, so I'm just starter. Don't even need to press the clutch, it starts. No, we don't get an engine temperature gauge at all.
You get a blue light.
Yeah, it's like an MG3. You get a blue light for cold and a red light for hot, just like on an MG3. Excellent. Sorry if my shadow's in the way. The access to the engine is brilliant, and look, you can actually see the gearbox down there. Tiny little 1 litre 3-cylinder engine developing 67 horsepower and I believe about 66 pound-foot of torque. The dual jet, I think it's got slightly more torque but the same power. Very, very, very accessible and easy to work on. The only issue that we seem to be having is the bonnet prop is already sort of slightly broken. It feels really, really flimsy as well. I mean, it's a very light bonnet, and you do actually get a mat in it as well. But yeah, you can see everything. The battery's just there. I don't think you're going to have many problems with this engine. I believe it's a chain cam unit as well, so there's no cam belt in there. So yeah, just really, really simple and economical. The only thing is, this being a car that was launched in February 2015, the air conditioning gas you have to use is a more expensive type, but that's probably a minor detail really for most people. So here we are, driving through the streets of Stockbridge with some of the craziest parking known to man. This Fiat 500C is going straight towards me. Given it was the day before the national lockdown, everyone's out in Stockbridge, and the parking down here, as you can see, is literally just nose on towards the shops. There's not a lot of room anywhere. This, however, car is so small that it's perfect. If you wanted to park in there, it would be no problem. The gearbox and clutch are so light, they just take no effort whatsoever. So, city car, yes, absolutely fantastic for all that sort of stuff. Visibility is very good, steering's nice and light. So we've got a hill here, we'll be going a little bit faster. We're in the 30 limit, so we're not going to slow down too much, but once we get out of it, we'll try to accelerate a bit more. But I have a feeling in this car that it's going to struggle a bit. Right. Oh gosh. No, there's not a lot there. Colin did say that you had to rev it quite hard to make any progress, and yeah, I can see what he means by that. I do apologise for camera shaking a bit, and the fact that I'm being undertaken by an Audi. What is it about Audis and getting in the way? Yeah, there's not, I think this is an electric steering setup, I could be wrong. It's very, very light. Certainly with an MG3, if you wanted one of those, it has a hydraulic steering setup, and the gearbox is a bit heavier. It's not as nice feeling as this, but certainly you get a little bit more in terms of the handling and a little bit better steering than this. This isn't bad. It's not primarily designed as sort of something that attacks B roads, but it's simply not as good in terms of the feel. And yeah, I am driving this car not how you should really. I'm not revving it up. I'm not revving it hard enough to make most of the little engine to get performance, and that could be a bit tiresome. On the motorway, I imagine it wouldn't be too bad. The car is actually quite comfortable. I remember once being in a Seat Me and coming out of Southampton in it, and that has even less power in the 60 brake horsepower version, and being followed by a load of lorries and trying to accelerate onto the M27, and it was absolutely terrifying. This car's actually got a bit more performance than that, and I felt a bit safer in it than I did in the Seat Me, I must say. So yeah, the handling's actually pretty good. It holds on nicely, but it's just if you want to get out of someone's way, then it could be a bit of a mission. If you ever issue with this car is the insurance grouping. Now, a typical thing like a Volkswagen Up or something like that will be Group 1, Group 2. MG3's in a pre-facelift with Group 4. This is Group 7, and the Swift is an absurd Group 25 in some particular trims, which is just mad for a little car like that. But yes, I quite enjoyed driving this. It's pretty nice. So, viewers, for Suzuki Celerio, is this a car that you should consider? Well, absolutely. You know, it does feel like a car that's been built down to a price, and we've looked at many reasons why it does feel like that. But it's actually very spacious. The oddment storage isn't particularly good in here. We can't have some of the high-end luxury features, and there's no even option for parking sensors or a reversing camera. But you know, for the sort of prices these cars start at, which is around £2,500, it's definitely worth considering, just simply because of these really, really low running costs, the surprisingly spacious interior, and the fact that the engineering is so simple. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Sensible Secondhand Reviews. Please don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, for more of the same and no budget reviews and true jacket reviews sometimes as well. If you wish to submit your car for Sensible Secondhand Reviews, then please use the email address japl745@hotmail.com. That was actually the sort of 1 minute or so mark in the video if you need to have a reminder of it, and it will also be in the description below. I've got a Facebook page, facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting, and also Instagram, instagram.com/Lloyd_Vehicle_Consulting. Thank you.